The year is 2000. To understand this moment, you have to remember who Blockbuster was. They weren't just a store. They owned Friday night in America. They had 9,000 locations. They were an unstoppable empire making billions of dollars a year. Now picture this. Reed Hastings, a guy nobody knows, walks into their boardroom in Dallas. He is wearing a cheap suit. He runs a tiny failing company called Netflix. He looks at the CEO of Blockbuster, John Antioco, and says, "Buy us. We will run your online brand. You run the stores. We will join forces, and the price is $50 million." The CEO didn't just say no. He laughed. He literally laughed in his face. To him, Netflix was a joke, a gnat, a microscopic annoyance. Blockbuster had the world. Why would they need a few guys mailing DVDs in red envelopes? That laugh was the most expensive sound in business history. Today, Netflix is worth $300 billion. Blockbuster is dead. One single store remains in Bend, Oregon, a tombstone for a company that died of arrogance. This is the story of the $50 million mistake. To understand why Blockbuster died, you have to look at their balance sheet. You have to look at how they actually made money. They weren't in the movie business. They were in the penalty business. In the year 2000, Blockbuster made $800 million purely from late fees. That was 16% of their entire revenue. It was pure profit. Think about the psychology of that. Their business model depended on their customers failing. They needed you to be late. They needed you to be frustrated. They were betting against their own customers. When Reed Hastings started Netflix, he started it because he was angry. He had rented Apollo 13 from Blockbuster, lost the cassette, and was hit with a $40 late fee. He was embarrassed. He thought, "This is insane." So he built a model based on a subscription. No due dates, no late fees, keep the movie as long as you want. Blockbuster looked at this model and sneered. They said, "The math doesn't work. You can't make money without penalties." They were addicted to the poison. And when you are addicted to bad profits, money that comes from hurting your customers, you cannot find the cure. Here is the part of the story most people don't know. Blockbuster actually did try to fight back. By 2004, the laughter had stopped. Netflix was stealing their customers. John Antioco realized he had made a mistake. So, he did something brave. He launched Blockbuster Online. And he did something even crazier. He convinced the board to kill the late fees. He said, "If we want to survive, we have to stop punishing our customers." And it worked. Blockbuster Online started growing. They were stealing subscribers back from Netflix. For a brief moment, it looked like Blockbuster was going to win. They had the brand, they had the stores, and now they had the online platform. But then, the villain entered the story. The villain was not Netflix. The villain was inside the house. His name was Carl Icahn. He was a famous activist investor. He bought a huge chunk of Blockbuster stock, and he was furious. He looked at the books and said, "Where is the $800 million in late fees? Why are we spending money on this online nonsense?" He didn't care about the future. He cared about the stock price today. He waged a war against the CEO. He told the shareholders that Antioco was wasting their money. He demanded that they bring back the late fees and focus on the physical stores, and the shareholders listened. They fired John Antioco. They installed a new CEO who promised to focus on the core. They killed Blockbuster Online. They brought back the late fees. They chose the quarter over the decade. They chose the short-term profit over the long-term survival. And that was the moment Blockbuster truly died. While Blockbuster was fighting a civil war in their boardroom, Reed Hastings was looking at the horizon. He knew that DVDs were temporary. He knew the internet was getting faster. He didn't name his company DVDs by mail. He named it Netflix. He saw a future where movies traveled over the internet, not in mail trucks. In 2007, Netflix launched streaming. The selection was terrible. The quality was pixelated. It looked like garbage compared to a DVD. Blockbuster ignored it again. They said, "People like the experience of walking into a store. They like the popcorn. They like the browsing." They were wrong. People didn't love the store. The store was friction. The store was traffic. The store was lines. People loved the stories. And Netflix gave them the stories instantly. Blockbuster fell in love with their method. Netflix fell in love with their customer. There is a verse in Proverbs that explains this collapse perfectly. Where there is no vision, the people perish. We often hear this in church, but it is a brutal business reality. Vision is not just having a goal. Vision is the ability to see what isn't there yet. Blockbuster had sight. They could see their 9,000 stores. They could see their cash flow. They could see their spreadsheets, but they had no vision. They couldn't see a world without physical media. In business and in life, you are either growing or you are dying. There is no such thing as maintaining. Blockbuster tried to maintain. They tried to build a fortress around the status quo. But the world is a river. If you build a wall across a river, eventually the water will crush you. You must move with the current. You must be willing to cannibalize your own business before someone else does. God gives us the wisdom to see the seasons change. If you refuse to look at the leaves turning, you will freeze in the winter. In 2010, just 10 years after laughing at Reed Hastings, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. It happened fast. One day they were everywhere. The next day they were gone. The 9,000 stores were gutted. The blue and yellow signs were torn down and thrown into dumpsters. The employees were sent home. It is a haunting reminder reminder, you can be the biggest, you can be the richest, you can have the market cornered, but if you are arrogant, if you refuse to adapt, and if you listen to the voices that only care about short-term profit, you will fall. The market is ruthless. It does not care about your legacy. It only cares about value. The lesson for us is simple. Don't get comfortable. If something in your business feels safe and easy like those 800 million in late fees, watch out. That is usually where the disruption comes from. Look at your business today. What are you doing just because that's how we've always done it? Kill it, change it, or someone else will. Netflix was willing to kill their DVD business to build streaming. Blockbuster wasn't willing to kill their late fees to save their life. Be like Netflix. This is the Scale Foundry. Build smart, scale hard.